And here we are, another day where it looks warm and sunny, but I assure you it is not. We're going to be going back down to 20 below on Saturday. And so I thought I'd do a little weather check. It is beautiful blue skies though, so that's kind of nice. Gives you a little psychological edge on a day like this. But it's a good day for another adventure from the couch. Well, hello there, and welcome to another beautiful day for an adventure from the couch, right here on Tommy Travels the Second. And do you work in an office? If you do, then eventually someone's going to come around and say, I think it's a good idea to have a food day at work here. Everybody could bring in some stuff. In Minnesota, we call it a potluck, because there's a lot of crock pots, and hopefully when you open the top of one, you're in luck, and it'll be something very good. Sometimes it isn't. That's why it's called luck. But that is what today's topic is going to be about. Food days at work and the ins and outs of them. So if you are brand new to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on a thing. And I will see you right after this. And I say office environment because that's generally the easiest type of a place to put together a food day, and where they happen more often than other industries. Like, I'm sure construction sites, they'll order in pizza and stuff for the crew, things that are easy to put together, but you don't have people bringing in crock pots and plugging them into a 5,000 watt generator. You don't hear things like, I'm not even signing up on the sheet unless I know Bob's gonna bring in his famous 7-layer salad. Although that would be a hilarious thing to hear. So if you have potlucks or food days in an environment other than an office, that's great. You probably experience some of the similar things that I'm going to talk about today. So generally, the food day starts off with one or two people that think of it, or a committee that comes up with fun things to do for the floor and little bright ideas. And then they come up like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, let's have a food day. Or holidays are obvious. There's going to be a food day for those. Sometimes it could be birthdays. Those are pretty obvious too. But I mean, no occasion is too small to have a food day. Someone's always going to be coming around with the sheet, and it was like, well, what's the occasion for this food day? Well, Emily got her hair cut. If Emily got her hair cut, that qualifies as a good excuse to have a food day. And so now that the idea has been conceived, someone is going to come around with a list, which you will sign. It's only semi-voluntary. If you don't sign it, you get the whole look in the lecture like, you're not bringing in anything? Oh, come on, just bring in something little. This person's gonna bring in this thing. Oh my gosh, Bob's bringing in his famous 7-layer salad. Can't miss out on that. And so you'll sign the list whether you're bringing something or not, because you don't want to deal with all that. So then, from that day forward, be prepared to be reminded about Food Day no fewer than 1 million times. Food Day's tomorrow, you guys! Because the entire world will come to an end if you don't bring in your Hawaiian bread and chip dip. There'll be riots in the office. People will be throwing their chairs across the room, jumping out of windows. Tom didn't bring in his Hawaiian bread and chip dip. And then there are a few different types of people who participate in food days at work. It's kind of a hierarchy. On the top of the list, it's the people that bring the hot food, the crock pots, and the, that have the meatballs or the little Smoky Joe wieners in those, or the chicken wings and things like that. Because we know those go quick. That's the main course type of stuff. They're on the top of the list for the food days at work. And then there's the people that spend some time making things. They're the ones that bring the 7-layer salads or the taco chip dip stuff that, with the cheese and ground beef and black olives and sour cream, whatever that is. And then there's the lower end of the tier of the people that don't have crock pots, and they're not people that cook, kind of like me. It's the group that I'm in. If you can't find it at a gas station, I'm probably not bringing it in. They're the ones that bring in the chips and the pop and the cookies, the Nutter Butters, things like that. Stuff people enjoy, but nothing that took a lot of work. And then on the lowest end of the totem pole, they're the people that brought in the plastic forks. Or, just some paper plates or something like that. Well, they didn't even bring in food. There was one guy that I used to work with that he wanted to participate as far as the eating part of the potluck, but he didn't want to actually do anything. So he signed up to bring napkins, and he comes walking in. He had gone to the little kitchen area that we have, brought in a roll of paper towels that usually goes in the dispenser machine. I brought napkins, and puts it down on the table, and then he's like, hey, let me get some of those chicken wings. He's like first in line. He gets seconds and thirds, and because he brought some paper towels from the bathroom. There's just people like that. And then the politics of the food day are involved with whoever it is that gets to decide who goes up first to the line and who's getting what in the line, and don't take more than one of these because there's not enough for everybody. And that stuff is the worst part about food days, is everybody has fun and they bring in stuff, they get it all set out on the table, and then there's this stuff that you have to go through. And then also you have to make sure that nobody from any other department gets anywhere near that food table, because this day is not for them. It is only for people that participated. And there's a lot of energy and effort put into making sure that the right people are getting up to the table at the right times and taking the right things. There's nothing like taking the fun out of a fun time. And then the other thing that gets me about food days at work is when they start out at noon or whatever time, everything smells delicious, looks amazing, and it's all spread out there on the table, and all you have to do is fill your plate up with all these goodies and snacks and take them back to your desk and enjoy. And it is so nice. And maybe you go back up there and grab a couple other desserts or a couple other things that you wanted to try, and everybody's having a pretty good time at this point because everyone's gotten a chance to go up there and everything's good. But then after about 3, 4, 5 hours, however long it's been sitting there at the end of the day, it looks like a science experiment. The little beautifully carved slices of cheese are now hard as bricks. The slices of ham that go on the crackers are wet, gross, and disgusting. All the little salads look terrible. As good as it looked at the beginning of the day, that's how gross it looks now. And now it's time to clean it all up. And the people with their crock pots, they have to go back to the kitchen, so they have to quit working about a half hour earlier so they can clean out that stuff. And then pretty much if you did have something like cookies or chips or something that never got touched and you still want them, you better grab them, because either someone else is going to say, hey, there's a thing of chips, I'll just take those and bring them home myself. Or they'll get thrown out. One of the two will happen. So if you're married to something that you brought for food day, you better grab it. Because by the time the bell hits closing time, that stuff will be all gone from the table and you'll have no idea where it went. Well, those are kind of the ins and outs of food days at work here on Tommy Travels the Second. Fun little conversation. brings up some interesting tidbits about stuff that we all deal with. And if you guys liked what you saw here today, go ahead and hit like on my YouTube channel. If you have something else to say about Food Days, something good or bad or indifferent, leave a comment below. And then, of course, hit subscribe and the little bell notification next to it so you can be the first to know when a new adventure comes out. And thank you guys so much for the support that you've given me so far. And until next time, I hope to catch you on the flip side. Food day, gotta have a food day for me and a food day for you. And then there's a few different types of people that participate in I was almost gonna say, and I'll probably walk right off the job if Larry doesn't bring in his tater tot hot dish.